In the adjoining figure not drawn in the to the scale, AB is the tower and two objects. AB is the tower, two objects C and D are located on the ground on the same side of AB. When observed from the top of a tower A, their angle of depression is 45 degree and 60 degree. Find the distance between two objects CD, okay, and give the answer if the height of the tower is 300 meter. Height of the tower is 300 meter and depression of these two objects is given, that is one is 60 degree when one object is at D, and next one is 45 degree when object is at C. Okay, so the objects are at 2 points C and D. Since EAC is at 40 degree 45 degree and ACB is equal to 45 degree. Since EAD equal to 60 degree, therefore ADB is also 60 degree. Again, height of the tower AB is equal to 300 meter and CD is equal to X. So then from triangle ABD, that is tan 60 degree is equal to perpendicular by base, that is AB by BD, that imply root 3 is equal to AB is 300 and BD, that imply BD is equal to 300 by root 3. Okay, now from triangle ACB, where tan 45 degree is equal to perpendicular by base, that is CB, that is sum of CD and BD. Okay, therefore tan 45 degree is equal to AB by CD. So that imply 1 is equal to 300 by X plus 300 by root 3. Okay, because CB is sum of CD and BD, and BD we have found, that is 300 by root 3. So sum of these two. Okay, so that is 1 is equal to 300 by X plus 300 by root 3. That imply X plus 300 by root 3 is equal to 300. That imply X is equal to 300 minus 300 by root 3. That imply 300 common নিলে কি হবে 1 minus 1 by root 3. So it will be implied that 300 into root 3 minus 1. So ওপর নিচে root 3 দিয়ে মাল্টিপ্লাই করবো, তাহলে হয়ে যাবে 300 into 3 minus root 3. That is equal to 100 into 3 minus 1.73. So answer will be 127 meter. তাহলে x এর ভ্যালু হবে 127 meter. ওকে, আচ্ছা এখন আসি সাম নাম্বার 22 তে। The sum is that the horizontal distance between two towers is 100 meter. The angle of elevation of the top of the first tower when seen from the top of the second tower, that is 30 degree. দেখি বলছে the angle of elevation of the top of the first tower when it is seen the top of the second tower, and the height of the second tower is 60 meter. So find the height of the first tower. So suppose this is the first tower, that is AB, and this is the second tower, that is 60 meter, and it is says that distance between two horizontal distance between two tower is 140, and the angle of elevation of the top of the first tower. So from this point, the sum angle of elevation of the second tower, that is 30 degree given. If the height of the second tower it is given, তাহলে কি বলছে এই টাওয়ারটা থেকে যখন আমি এই টাওয়ারে দেখছি, দেন অ্যাঙ্গেল অফ এলিভেশন হয়ে যাচ্ছে 30 ডিগ্রি। ওকে, তাহলে আমি ড্র করছি একটা প্যারালাল লাইন উইথ বিসি। ওকে, তাহলে এ বি ধরে নিচ্ছি, এ বি ইজ দ্য হাইট অফ দ্য টাওয়ার, দ্যাট ইজ এইচ মিটার, অ্যান্ড এইটা ধরে নিচ্ছি এক্স মিটার। So distance between two towers is given 140. The height of the second tower DC is 60 degree. The angle of elevation from the point D to A, that is 30 degree. Therefore ADE is equal to 30 degree. Let the height of the second tower is H and let AE is equal to X. Therefore DC is equal to 60 meter. Therefore BE is equal to also 60 meter. এটা 60 মিটার, এটার সাথে এটা প্যারালাল, তাহলে বিইটাও 60 মিটার। অ্যান্ড ইডি অ্যান্ড বিসি is equal to 140, কারণ এটার সাথে এটা প্যারালাল, তাহলে এটা 140 হলে এটা 140 হবে। ওকে, নাও ফ্রম ট্রায়াঙ্গেল AED কি হচ্ছে, tan 30 ডিগ্রি is equal to perpendicular by base কি হচ্ছে AE by ED, that imply 1/√3 is equal to AE মানে হচ্ছে x by 140, that imply x equal to 140/√3। ওকে, তাহলে h equal to কি হয়ে যাবে, সাম অফ h equal to হয়ে যাবে সাম অফ AE প্লাস EB। তাহলে AE হচ্ছে 140/√3 প্লাস EB মানে হচ্ছে 60, তাহলে আনসার হয়ে যাচ্ছে 140.82। তাহলে এটা সাম করলে, এটা ভ্যালু বসিয়ে সাম করলে 140 প্লাস 82 হচ্ছে। Now sum number 23. The 23 is that as observed from the top of a 80 meter tall lighthouse, the angle of depression of two ships on the same side of the lighthouse in horizontal line with its base are 30 degree and 40 degree respectively. Find the distance between two ships. Give your answer correct up to the nearest meter. So this is the tower AB, lighthouse AB, and from this lighthouse the observer observed from the point A to the ships D and C. The angle of depression of the ship D is 30 degree and of the ship C is 40 degree. Okay, so from the triangle ABC, tan 40 degree is equal to perpendicular by base, that is AB by BC. So here perpendicular is 80 আর এটা হচ্ছে BC, 0.8391 equal to 80 by BC. So BC equal to 80 by 0.84, that is equal to 95.25. Okay, now from the triangle ABD, tan 30 degree equal to perpendicular by base, that is AB by BD. BD মানে হচ্ছে BC plus CD, তাহলে BD is equal to 80 into √3, so that is equal to 138.4. Now you have to find out the value of DC. So BD minus BC করলে x এর ভ্যালু পেয়ে যাব DC, তাহলে 138.4 minus 95.24, that is equal to 43.15 meter. Okay, so this is your answer. তাহলে ফার্স্টে আমি বড় ট্রায়াঙ্গেলটা কনসিডার করলাম, ছোট ট্রায়াঙ্গেলটা কনসিডার করলাম, তারপরে এই টোটাল ডিস্টেন্সটা পেয়ে গেলাম, তারপরে এই ডিস্টেন্সটা পেয়ে গেলাম, পেয়ে দুটোকে সাবট্রাক্ট করতে এক্স এর ভ্যালু পেয়ে গেলাম। ওকে, নাও 24 এরটা কি হচ্ছে, দ্য অ্যাঙ্গেল অফ এলিভেশন অফ আ পিলার ফ্রম আ পয়েন্ট এ অন দ্য গ্রাউন্ড is 45 degree and from the point B diametrically opposite to A, and on the other side of the pillar it is 60 degree. Find the height of the pillar. Give that the distance between A and B is 15 meter. Okay, so কি বলছে, from the point A on the ground, that is 45 degree, and from the B is opposite to B, that is 60 degree. Find the height of the pillar. Suppose CD is the pillar, and from the C the angle of elevation of the point A on the ground, that is 45 degree, and the angle of elevation of the point B from the pillar, that is 60 degree. Okay, and this A and B are in opposite sides, and total distance of AB, that is given 15 meter. Total distance of AB that is 15 meter. Okay, now from the point A, the angle of elevation to the top of the pillar, that is 45 degree. Therefore CAD is equal to 45 degree, and from a point B, the angle of elevation of the top of the pillar is 60 degree. Therefore CBA is equal to 60 degree. Now distance of AB, that is 15 meter. Now CD is equal to X and AD is equal to Y. Therefore BD will be total 15 minus Y. Now from triangle ACD, that is equal to tan 45 degree equal to perpendicular base by base, that is x by y, that imply 1 is equal to x by y, that imply x equal to y. Now from triangle CDB, tan 60 degree is equal to perpendicular by base, that is x by 15 minus y, that imply root 3 is equal to x by 15 minus x. So that imply 1.73 into 15 minus x equal to x. Okay, so 25.95 minus 1.73 x equal to x, that imply 25.95 is equal to 2.73 x. So that imply x equal to 25.95 by 2.73 is equal to 9.51 meter. Okay, so that imply x is equal to 9.51 meter. This is your answer, and this is the height of the pillar. Okay. 25. From two points A and B on the same side of a building, the angle of elevation of the top of the building are 30 degree and 60 degree respectively. If the height of the building is 10 meter, the distance between AB correct to the decimal place. Okay. Now DC. Now building. Suppose the building is DC and the height of the building is 10 meter. Now from the angle of elevation of the building of the top of the building is 30 degree and 60 degree respectively. From the point A on the ground A and B, the angle of elevation of the top of the building from the point A and B, the angle of elevation of the top of the building B is 30 degree and 60 degree respectively. Therefore DAC is equal to 30 degree and DBC equal to 60 degree. Now from triangle BCD, tan 60 degree equal to perpendicular by base DC by CB, that imply root 3 is equal to 10 by CB, that implies CB is equal to 10 by root 3. Now from triangle ACD, tan 30 degree equal to perpendicular by base, that is DC by AC, that imply 1 by root 3 is equal to DC is equal to 10 meter and AC is equal to sum of CB and X. CB is already we got, that is 10 by root 3, that is x plus 10 by root 3. That imply 10 root 3 is equal to x plus 10 by root 3. That imply x equal to 10 root 3 minus 10 by root 3. That is equal to root 3 into 10 into 3 minus 10. That is equal to 20 by root 3. Okay. So 20 by root 3, that implies 20 by 1.73 is equal to 11.54 meter. So this is your answer. So x means the distance between 2 points. This is your final answer. Okay.